I'm Peg Anna Walt, and I'm the director of the Chesapeake Childcare Resource Center that's located here at Chesapeake College. Just a few housekeeping items. Please, we're informal here. If you want to get coffee or something while we're talking, none of the speakers will be offended. Please go ahead. Bathrooms are down that direction. And the other thing is that also we encourage you to participate in the silent auction, and the items are out there in the hallway. And you'll have time after the auction, after the agenda. I think it's going to close 10 minutes after the program is over. Now it's my privilege to introduce our new Dean of Continuing Education, Michael Dugan.
Thank you very much. I will definitely try and keep this brief. I see we have a 1 hour program, which I just learned was only a 1 hour program just a short time ago. As Peg mentioned, I am new. She's trying very hard to educate me on all the programs that she's involved in, as well as what's going on in the rest of the college. I read something recently about community colleges being a uniquely American invention in terms of higher education, and being in part of an event like this one today, where it's the college. Back a little bit. Okay. Better. Good. It excites me to be part of an event like this today, where there's so many people from throughout the community who we're engaged with in playing a small part, but an important part, I think, in working with the youngest and the smallest of our constituents. So it gives me great pleasure to be here, and I just wish you a very successful program. Thank you very much.
My kind of speaker. As some of you may know, I'm former delegate Dick Saucy and currently community liaison for Congressman Andy Harris. He sends his regards and his regrets. As some of you may have noticed, there's activity on down in Washington, but today is the swearing in of the new Congress. So if you're not there, they may give you a seat away to somebody else. So I've been tasked with a couple things. One is to introduce not the dignitaries, because we'd be here all day, but just some of the elected officials, and in no particular order other than when they came in. First is the present and new and continuing president of the Board of Education, Vito Tonelli. Brand new member on the board, hard-fought campaign, Tammy Harper. Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Carol Williamson. Our state's attorney, Lance Richardson. And he'll be coming up here to speak himself in a moment, but representing Sheriff Hoffman, Captain Brian Smith. And just real briefly, as a delegate, I frequently had people coming in to lobby for one thing and another, and they wanted us to spend money on things. Now, some years back, of course, a certain part of the political spectrum started calling it investment, not spending, because it sounded better. And in some cases, it really was, but usually spending is spending. And there's spending that goes to things like corrective things. You want to make sure, like an overpass, people don't get killed, or repairing bridges, so they don't collapse, and so on. And then there's spending to take care of problems that you didn't take care of in the first place, like building prisons and hiring more police to take care of issues and so on. But when it comes to early childhood investment, it's a double whammy. I mean, you get an opportunity to help children become prepared for school and do not become part of the problem, but rather part of the solution. And eventually, again, they become part of the people who are productive in society and make it possible for us to take care of all those other issues. So that's one of those investments where I have never been abashed about supporting. And with that, Captain, if you'll come on up and say a few words.
How we sound. Fortunately, Sheriff Hoffman couldn't be here today. I'm usually filling as his double. He's out of town, but he's passionate about early childhood development, intervention, substance abuse issues, alcohol issues that are, our kids in Queen Anne's County are facing. And that really, what we're seeing in the law enforcement community is a lot of issues of vandalism, alcohol abuse, substance abuse that really stresses the need. We need to deal with these issues early on before these kids are in the middle school, before they're late in the elementary school. An investment, as Mr. Sassi said, early on is going to basically save us money and resources later on. And with staffing the way it is nowadays, I tell you, Sheriff Hoffman, Sheriff's Office, and we got a lot of the key players here today that, can work together to make this happen, but we really need to focus our time, attention, and resources in identifying and dealing with these issues early on before these kids get into our schools. School security, we're busy, as you all know. You read the papers, you see the articles, and we enjoy being at the schools. We're passionate with school security, providing a safe working environment for our kids, school environment, but we really need to deal with the issues early on before they get bad and get to the middle schools in particular. Thank you. Anybody have any questions already? A couple of people asked me questions before I walked in, so I couldn't get to them all.
Is there coordination on the whole Eastern Shore regarding alcohol and drug abuse, and particularly now prescription drugs? I know Talbot came together and had a drug seminar in St. Michael's with a number of the various things. What is your experience with working with multiple agencies in Queen Anne and Kent areas?
I think we're extremely fortunate, especially in Queen Anne's County. I speak first about. Queen Anne's County has an excellent substance abuse IGLE program between the Drug Free Coalition, the local management board. We have a lot of good people who are very knowledgeable, passionate, and all the key players work together. We have State's Attorney here, Lieutenant Boardman's here somewhere, all work together and deal with this substance abuse day after day. And I think we're extremely fortunate in Queen Anne's County. We do work with other surrounding counties because there's bleed over. We definitely do that, but I think we're extremely fortunate in Queen Anne's County to have the players we do that are passionate about substance and alcohol abuse. So I think we have a great working relationship. We do a lot of good things. Oh. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome.
Well, good morning. My name is Shelley Edwards, and I'm the Program Director for Healthy Families at Queen Anne's Talbot. With the recent tragedy in Newtown, Connecticut, I know we're wondering the safety of our children and what was going on. Some of that can be defined as with antisocial behavior, and I'll define that for you. It's a condition characterized by repetitive behavioral patterns that are contrary to usual moral and ethical standards and cause a person to experience continuous conflict with the society. And how does antisocial behavior develop? It's seen as early as the preschool years. There's 3 important risk factors for that, and one is adverse maternal health-related behaviors during pregnancy, such as drug use, smoking, depression. Another is child abuse and neglect. And third is our troubled maternal life course. Healthy Families Queen Anne's Talbot can help with all 3 of those areas. It's designed to help parents and children start on a sound course and prevent problems such as antisocial behaviors. Healthy Families is an evidence-based, accredited early intervention and prevention program that provides voluntary home visiting services to the residents of Queen Anne's County. Some of our outcomes for FY 2012 is that we had a 98% reduction of child abuse and neglect. Your estimated tax dollars of a child maltreatment is about $210,000 for a child that lives and $1.3 million for a child that dies. Childhood exposure to abuse and neglect have been linked to a lifetime of violence and victimization and an increased utilization of social and welfare services. Healthy Families helped last year decrease dependency on welfare, and we continue to do that. Currently, we have 75% of our families are working or working on higher education. The brain is the one organ that is not fully developed at birth. If you look on the left side of the brain, that's a brain of a child that has been abused or neglected. On the other side is a healthy brain. We want our children to be on the right side. Brain development is crucial from conception until 5 years old. When the brain is 90% developed, Healthy Families provide services from prenatal until the child turns 5 years old. Another expense of tax dollars is preterm low birth weight babies. 100% of our families enrolled in the program delivered a healthy baby. Healthy Families saves tax dollars and also generates additional employment earnings and taxes paid by the adult to achieve more of their potential. We want healthier children and a healthier community. 100% of our children are fully immunized. 100% of children have a medical home with a doctor, and they receive dental care as well. Children who have a good start in the first 3 years of life also have more success in school, fewer problems later with school failure, violence, drug abuse, delinquency, and teen pregnancy. Healthy Families saves on future costs like the criminal justice system. The Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention endorses Healthy Families America as a program that assists in the prevention of juvenile delinquency. We need programs like this to assist Sheriff Hoffman and our county in reducing our youth from entering the system. When you start early, it will pay now or pay later. High-quality early childhood programs such as Healthy Families saves the community $7 to $9 for every dollar spent in the community that does the investing. So for more information, you can contact me. Our website is on talbothealth.org, and it tells you all the current statistics for the program. Does anybody have any questions? Hi, Kathy.
Can you talk a little bit about funding and how it's not always?
Absolutely.
And also, second part, completely unrelated to that, you have a term up there, 98% reduction in child abuse and neglect. Can you explain that?
Sure, absolutely. We have, what happens is we do an assessment. It's a validated and reliable tool that we use initially, and it gives you a percentage of what it's like that you will be likely to abuse or neglect your child. And so when we put that into this calculation, it comes up with how many reports were made versus how many potential reports would have been made based on their outcomes. So we had 98%. So last year, 45 families were predicted to have a child abuse or neglect report. We had one out of 105 families. So it is, it's proven that it reduces that. With funding, our funding is scarce. We have been level funded for 13 years, so we've received the same funding, which means we can't add additional staff. Our current staff have no benefits, no health insurance, no paid time off, nothing. So we can't, they're working their hardest to serve our county with very little pay, very little benefits. Every year, we don't know whether we're going to receive it or not. We get funding through the Maryland State Department of Education. We get funding through Queen Anne's County Department of Social Services, through the Safe and Stable funding, and we also get Local Management Board of Queen Anne's County and Talbot County Local Management Board funds us too. So we get reduction every year based on our funding when we're showing really good outcomes. So our community should be investing in a truly prevention program, and we have the proven outcomes. Did that answer your question?
Just
Okay.
to highlight the part from social services is we would give you all that money every year. And I'd like to tell you it's safe and stable. We get the safe and stable funds, but I believe that's one of the federal funds
Absolutely.
that could be on the chopping block.
Absolutely.
From the feds to the state. And even though the fiscal year began July 1, we were told basically September 1 that we didn't have the money for this year.
Right.
Although we had been told to proceed as if we had it to give to you.
Yes.
And so we all had to, each jurisdiction in the state had to fight back and say, well, wait a minute, you can't just like take our money away from us. And we did get it partially returned and
Yes.
everything, because you articulated the need so well, for us to pass back up to the state. But
Yes, thank you.
I don't know how you sleep at night because it's such a great program, but you never know where your dollars are going to come.
Absolutely.
It would be nuts.
It is.
But you keep it together and
Thank you.
great job.
Thank you. If I didn't, this program has the outcomes, and I completely believe in prevention. Prevention is where we should be. Thank you, Kathy. I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Mary Beth Johnson from the Maryland State Department of Education.
Glasses on. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mary Beth Johnson. I'm the Quality Assurance Specialist with the Maryland State Department of Education, Division of Early Childhood Development, Office of Childcare, Maryland Excels branch. I bring greetings. I am not Liz Kelly. I do bring greetings, though, from Dr. Lillian Lowry, the State Superintendent of Schools. As a lot of you know, Dr. Lowry has always been a great supporter of early childhood education with doing her work in Delaware, and now we're very lucky to have her come to Maryland. I also bring greetings from Rolf Wallner, who is the Assistant State Superintendent in the Division of Early Childhood, and he sends his regrets that he could not be here, and Liz Kelly, Director of Office of Childcare. She sends her regrets. She is very ill, actually, so this is last minute, here I am. But I will do my best. As I said, I'm the new Quality Assurance Specialist for the Maryland Excels, and I'm located, I do all 8 counties on the Eastern Shore, but I do live in Queen Anne's County. Okay, what is high quality childcare? There's been a lot of attention placed in the past several years on what defines high quality childcare. While there are some general principles that have been identified as indicators of high quality, there are many factors that have to be considered. There are 6 indicators of high-quality childcare. Childcare Aware, formerly the National Association of Childcare Resource and Referral Agencies, has identified the following 6 indicators. Group size. If any of you have ever been in a childcare center or family home, the smaller the group, the better. I mean, that just makes common sense. The ratio of adults to the number of children. The number of adults required in a childcare home or center depends not only on the number of children, but also on the ages of the children. Of course, if you had babies, you couldn't handle many babies, the ratio would be different. Family involvement. We know that the more families have the ability to be involved and engage in the program, the better the families feel and the more welcome they feel into the program, which is a goal. Caregiver education and staff turnover. Education, experience, and support of childcare staff are indicators of high-quality programs. Staff turnover is also an indicator. The less turnover, generally, the higher quality. When staff feel supported, know and understand child development, appropriate activities, and behaviors for children, they are more likely to continue in the field and have a strong commitment to work. That is definitely something that we need to see. A high-quality caregiver is one who is caring and tuned in, someone who listens to and is aware of the child's communications, both verbal and nonverbal, watches for clues on how the child is feeling, and picks up on those clues as he or she interacts with the children, and attends to them all the time and does not spend time chatting with other adults. The tuned-in caring provider is able to comfort one child while listening to another and watch the other children and remain ready to assist when needed. They are open and able to show physical and verbal affection, but not overly so. This person does not need to say that they like children. The feelings are clear by their actions. You can see it when you walk into a program how the caregiver feels about the children by their actions. A respectful caregiver values children's ideas, is considerate of their feelings, and demonstrates high regard for them through their warm and affectionate manner. Health and safety. Everyone agrees that safety and security are the foundations of high-quality care. A child has to be safe physically and feel safe emotionally. For the most part, licensing regulations ensure that the physical environment is safe for all children in care. Rooms must be clean and uncluttered and free of hazards. Furniture, materials, and toys need to be age-appropriate and accessible. The outdoor environment must be inviting, free of hazards, and secure. Emotional safety is a little more difficult to evaluate. Emotionally safe children dare to explore and try out new things. They are spontaneously affectionate with their caregivers and each other. Accreditation. This means that a child care center or family child care provider has made a commitment to provide a high-quality program for young children and their families. Maryland Excels, the new tiered quality rating and improvement system, brings all of these aspects together in a system of quality improvement. Group size, ratios, foundational education and experience requirements, and health and safety are all components of the state's licensing system. Maryland Excels builds on these components and requires child care programs to meet higher standards for education and experience, staff interactions, family engagement, and accreditation. You can go to the next one. Through the establishment of the 5 levels of quality, child care programs will have the ability to improve what they're already doing well and will be able to articulate to the community where they excel. This is a very important statement. Centers, family providers, school-age programs, and public pre-K programs will be able to show off their accomplishments and shout to the world that they are committed to high-quality care. This is a great program that Maryland is starting. It's in the field test right now. And again, this is, we want to make this a public campaign too. So this is the first step in Queen Anne's County, is right here to tell people that what Maryland Excels is and to educate the public about pre-K programs. Using the Maryland Excels website, families, parents, and the community as a whole will be able to locate providers who have opted into the Excels program. So in the very near future, if your business is childcare, you will finally have a venue to showcase your strengths and attract more children. As a community, this means higher quality care all around. Does quality care make a difference? Of course it does. There's a wealth of research and data that connect high-quality early childhood experiences to children's school readiness and later life success. Shelley touched on some of these also. Among these findings are improved school readiness, improved math and language ability, fewer cognitive and social issues, fewer behavior issues, less likely to be in special education, and less likely to repeat a grade. As a child gets older, they are less likely to enter juvenile detention and more likely to graduate from high school. Yes, this matters for everyone in our community. As adults, they are more likely to be in high-skilled job or higher education by the age of 21, less likely to commit a crime or felony, and less likely to rely on social assistance programs. This matters to everyone. A commitment to an investment in high-quality early care and education programs has not only short-term benefits, but long-term, as you can see. Over the past 11 years, Maryland has pursued an agenda to improve school readiness for children entering kindergarten. As the majority of you know, in 2001, only 49% of Maryland's children were fully ready for the school experience. This year's numbers are not yet known, but last school year, 2011 to 12, 83% of children in Maryland were fully ready. In Queen Anne's County, that number is 91% of children fully ready. This increase did not happen by chance. With our continued work to improve the experiences of all children, I'm confident that we will ensure that Maryland's children will have the skills they need to be successful in school and in life. When our children succeed, so does Maryland and so does Queen Anne's County. Thank you. Okay, Michael Clarke will present next.
Morning. I just hit a key age, so in my eyesight, let's make sure. Most of you know that I'm from Queen Anne's County Local Management Board. also known as the Community Partnerships for Children. We've been around since 1997. Currently, there is some momentum building in regards to research and study of entities throughout the country known as backbone organizations. Backbone organizations are charged with pursuing the following common activities to support and facilitate collective impact. 1, guiding vision and strategy. 2, supporting aligned activities. 3, establishing shared measures and practices. 4, building public will. 5, advancing policy. And 6, mobilizing funding. In listening to that list, you can see these activities almost directly align with the work of the Local Management Board, a backbone organization in Queen Anne's County. In regards to those 6 steps and the L&B, perhaps they are the most visible with the accomplishments that have been made in our county in regards to early childhood. The first 2 activities of guiding vision and strategy and supporting aligned activities are very easy because of the people and organizations of this county. Many of you are here this morning. Almost everyone in the family and child service sector in Queen Anne's County is easy to get along with and willing to do what it takes to help children. The early childhood community in Queen Anne's County was ahead of their time in understanding the importance of implementing strong early childhood initiatives in regards to the outcomes they have, the money they save, and the quality of life they establish. So from the very first day of my employment with the Local Management Board, it was clear to me that early childhood was a priority in Queen Anne's County, and we quickly began working on 2 grants to support the Family Support Center. Partnerships were strong at that time with folks like the Department of Health, the Children's Council, Infants and Toddlers, Childcare Licensing Office, Department of Social Services, childcare providers, the Board of Education, and many others involved. The L&B members supported this concept because the community thought it through. Soon after the Family Support Center was started, plans were submitted in partnership with Talbot County in order to bring the home visiting initiative, Healthy Families. With that program, another successful piece of the early child care spectrum was filled. The L&B was also excited to see and supports wholeheartedly the Judy Center partnership, which came soon thereafter. When funding was cut from the Family Support Center, the L&B put some money forth to maintain the center for a year. This money served as a match that helped us to get federal grant for the center, and then we eventually regained ongoing funding with the support of representatives from MSDE and the Maryland Family Network, which at that time was Friends of the Family. The Children's Council has been wonderful across all the years, advocating both locally and statewide for the importance of a priority focus on early childhood outcomes. In my first year with the L&B, I remember being so impressed by the passion, the energy, and knowledge of the early childhood workers and advocates. They were tireless as they participated in numerous initiatives and supported activities to continue finding resources, strengthening programs, increasing collaboration, and building public will, all to help children. Over the years, some, but not many, of the faces have changed, but the passion and hard work continues. And because of that, there have been positive results. But there are some problems, and there's still work to be done. First is the irony of which we've all experienced. It seems like every week there is another report or another study released that explains that strong early childhood programs benefit the children, their parents, later school achievement, lifetime success, and even have positive effects on the economy. Yet, it seems that the more we hear about the importance of a strong early childhood system, the more difficult it becomes to get and keep funding for prolonged periods. The Local Management Board's most recent needs assessment entitled Building on Success shows that Queen Anne's County experienced the largest increase in the cost of basic needs of all jurisdictions in Maryland from 2001 to 2012. 7.5% of all our children under the age of 5 are living below the poverty line. 14% of Queen Anne's County residents have limited access to healthy foods. And while we are strong in our kindergarten readiness results in the aggregate, we still need to work to pull up the subgroups, which include students from low-income families. Despite those hurdles, and others not mentioned, I am confident that we can address them and work to ensure that the overall well-being of children in Queen Anne's County can be increased even further. As you know, Maryland was one of 9 states to be awarded a Race to the Top Early Learning Challenge grant. It is a 4-year, $50 million grant award from the U.S. Department of Education. There are 10 key project areas in this grant. We just learned about one. the Maryland Excels program that will implement a quality rating and improvement system for all early learning and development programs. Another project area will look into childhood development and innovations and provide a developmental screening for all early learning programs and pediatricians. This grant also requires each county to establish an early childhood advisory council, which is a partnership between the county and the Board of Education in each jurisdiction. In Queen Anne's County, we decided to utilize the members of the Judy Center Partnership Board and add members to fill required representation areas as needed for this committee. We also need to ensure that we focus on the entire county, which will require us to look beyond the current Judy Center catchment area. Progress is moving forward as the steering committee of this group will be receiving training next week from the Annie Casey Foundation. Once the training is complete, work will begin with the full committee. I'm excited for Queen Anne's County by this opportunity because it gives us the chance to solidify and build upon a concept that the members of this county's early childhood community are all very good at and have been doing for a long time. As I look forward over the next 5 to 10 years, it seems that we can take the strengths that we have now for early childhood in Queen Anne's County and make them even more robust. We will have to implement a community-wide plan for early childhood, build on our partnerships with the state in order to receive more guidance and other resources, and most importantly, continue that amazing passion, collaboration, and hard work that so many of you have put forth. With that formula, there is no doubt that positive results will occur. Thank you to everyone who works to make children and families better in Queen Anne's County and beyond. Now, I'd like to introduce Dorothy Carpenter, who is a long-term time advocate for children. She's got a passion. She's one of the ones we were talking about, and she's from the Family Center.
Good morning. George, is this good? There's much controversy over how to help people in need and sometimes whether to help at all. We deliver the information that you've been hearing to many people, and even supporters will say, well, yes, this is very important, but if the budgets don't have enough money, then we can't continue funding. We assert these to be investments that we can't afford not to make in order to have a strong community as well as to avoid tragic expenses down the road. How much should come from government is an ongoing debate. We assert that the more government invests, the higher revenue will be through jobs and taxes paid. Others, some of my dear friends included, group the majority of these supports as welfare and believe we have created a welfare system filled with lazy people who would prefer to sit home and live off their entitlements. We hope that you're getting some idea of the cost saved when we offer support. We want you to understand that the majority of families want the best for their children, and they're willing to do what it takes to be successful. Even the best of us need a little help sometimes. All of our programs together have worked with hundreds, even thousands of families over the years, and I get to bring a few of them to your attention. Sarah Welch and her son Quentin began in the Healthy Families Queen Anne's Talbot program in 2006. While a participant of Healthy Families, Sarah received her high school diploma, and she's now the owner of a small business in St. Michael's. She attributes her success to her mother and to the Healthy Families program. They gave her the strength and support to achieve goals she never imagined could happen. Sarah and Quentin graduated from the Healthy Families program in 2012. Mike Hoffman dropped out of high school 13 years ago when he was just 15. For the first few years, he had a good job with benefits, but when the economy went sour, his work was inconsistent when he could find any at all. He had a child 5 years ago who was being raised by his mom. 22 months ago, Mike had Tanner Emerson, and Mike was determined to raise him and be more of a role model for Tanner. A year ago, Mike and Tanner Emerson enrolled at the Family Center, where Mike attended parenting and GED classes and participated in the state leadership program for family support centers. Last month, he walked across the stage to receive his high school diploma. He has a full-time job, health care, and hopes to enroll in auto mechanics school in the spring. Tiana Glover's family is enrolled in the Infants and Toddlers program with her son Micah. Tiana says this: "When Micah first came to Infants and Toddlers, he could only use about 5 words, was wandering at mealtime, making limited eye contact, and hardly ever responded to his own name." Here's what Tiana says after working with therapists in the Infants and Toddlers program. "Micah now uses countless words and gestures to communicate. He sits for meals, will make much more eye contact, and consistently responds to his name. The most heartwarming experience I had with the program was that I'd never heard my own child refer to me as mom or mommy. One day I was standing in my kitchen, and this bubbly 2-year-old comes running from his bedroom looking directly at me and shouting, 'Mommy, Mommy.' Even as I tell this story months later, my eyes are filled with tears. The simple things that most parents take for granted mean oh so much when dealing with a child with special needs." Heather and Adeline Folk started coming to the family center when Adeline was a baby. When Heather's marriage ended, she found herself with no job, no income, and no home. She moved in with her parents, applied for unemployment, and enrolled in college to make herself more marketable in the workforce. Then she discovered the family center, where she was able to attend with her child and work on her online courses. Heather participated in programming, particularly parenting and peer support. She served as the volunteer receptionist, plus sent appeal letters and made phone calls for donations to enhance the center's meager budget. Baby Adeline had sensory issues, avoiding water and anything messy. With support in the child development program, Adeline worked through those issues which often lead to learning problems and a need for intervention, sometimes very costly. Heather is aware of the stigma of social services and had fears of being judged a taker. Heather graduated last May with a bachelor's in management and has a full-time job. Jacoya Tillman and her son Javier joined the Healthy Families program in 2008 and recently graduated. While in the Healthy Families program, Jacoya completed high school and decided to pursue a nursing career. She is now a certified nursing assistant working full-time. She is also working on her bachelor's degree in nursing, which she hopes to achieve in 2014. Jacoya never thought she could achieve these goals and attributes this to the help of her Healthy Families home visitor. Our last example is Tamara Blackwell, determined to get her life turned around as she puts it, hanging out on the streets, drinking, and at bars with people who were no good. She has a 17-year-old son who she had at age 15 and needed a lot of help raising. She feels life gave her a second chance with Amaya, now 4 months old. Tamara is working on getting her high school diploma, becoming self-sufficient, and has hopes for a future she didn't have before. As we speak, she is signing a lease for an apartment in Kent County, by the way, because Queen Anne's County doesn't have too much affordable housing. Tamara says, "The Sudlersville Family Center has changed my life so much. Before I came to the Family Center, I was doing nothing with my life. Tamara's hopes are to be following in the same footsteps of the other families just mentioned." I'm going to end with a short video that illustrates some of the immediate results. This was produced by Maryland Family Network, which is with the Maryland State Department of Education.
That's me at 4 months old. I'm one of the thousands of little miracles born into poverty every day. That's my mom. She's 17 and never finished high school. She's got some big dreams for me, but she's alone and she's scared. This is my first birthday. That's my grandma. my cousin Tanya, and my boyfriend Kevin. We all live together. It's cold and crowded. I hope we move soon. I don't like Kevin. He's always yelling. This is my second birthday. We're all at daycare, strapped in watching TV again. I wish I could just run around. This is my third birthday. My brother William's taking care of me while my mom sleeps. She works the night shift, so we can't turn up the TV, but we get to go to bed whenever we want. This is my fourth birthday. We're sleeping at my aunt's this month. I don't know when my dad's coming home, but I'm hungry and I miss him. This is my fifth birthday. This is my first day of kindergarten. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I'm unprepared because I didn't get the right start. I'm twice as likely to be in special education. 30% more likely to never go to college. 70% more likely to be arrested for a violent crime. Become a teen parent. Drop out of school. Never hold a job. Spend the rest of my life in poverty. My mom plays with me all the time. She smiles a lot now, and she knows she's not alone anymore. Grandma Tanya and Kevin read me a story every night before I go to bed. I go to my school every day, where I get to run and play and see all my new friends. Will and I go to preschool together. Today we learned about dinosaurs and played a counting game. Every morning, my dad and I brush our teeth and eat breakfast together. We have our own place now, and I know we'll always be together. This is my first day of kindergarten. I'm rested, I'm eager, I'm confident, I'm curious, I'm prepared. I'm ready. I am your future. Change the first 5 years, and you change everything. Anyone interested in investing?
And pardon me, I can never watch that without crying a little bit. I'm Jackie Carter, and I chair the Children's Council, and I'm also the coordinator for the Character Counts program in Queen Anne's County. After seeing that video and listening to our presenters today, how can we possibly fail our children? They are our future. They need us. They need a healthy start in life in order to become successful citizens, and I'm so glad to see other people are wiping their eyes too. We've actually given you some steps that you can help, just 10 ways. Of course, money's always involved, but we know that's not always doable. But find out more about the early childhood programs here in Queen Anne's County or whatever county you live in. Go and visit some of them. I love visiting the Family Center because I work with the Empowerment Group once a month up there with adults, and Mike was one of them. And it's wonderful to see them when I first start working with them, how they change as being there at the Family Center. They become more confident. Their self-esteem raises, and then they work together as a community there to help anybody who's fallen down. And it's really a great way to find out what our programs are doing So find out the early childhood programs. If you know a family child care provider who's going through the accreditation, talk to them. Really just kind of support them and say, I know it's a little hard sometimes when you've got to think about the different steps that you have to take, but what you're doing is going to provide an even better start for the young children in your care and to help maintain that success with the older children in your care. Volunteer. Your time is very valuable, but volunteer in some of these programs, even in our school system in the preschool. I know that they would love to have some people come through and help volunteer, because you've heard we have a lot of people who are working that are not making a lot of money, but they're putting a lot of their time and effort. They're going above and beyond, and they could use a little extra help sometimes. So you might think about that. And you're wondering, well, who can I call? You can call Chesapeake Helps, which is on your agenda, which is 1-866-722-4577. And you can say, I'm really interested in working with children this age, or maybe going to see this program. And they're going to be able to tell you where you can go. And they're going to give you the contact information. Hey, you just heard we need fundraising. If you have a talent for it, come find some of these programs and utilize your talents in a way to help our young children. I want to leave you with a quote from Frederick Douglass. I love quotes. And he had said, it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. And you heard that from Captain Smith. We do not want to have our children go through our criminal justice system. We want our children to have a really good, healthy foundation, and then that foundation needs to follow them as they grow. And it's going to take our community, because it's not just the family themselves. They need help from the community as well. And we have to get back to that idea where we're going to help one another no matter what. We have a silent auction. That money goes to our Educare fund, through the local management board, which works with people who are working in the child care field and need to buy a curriculum, or they want to start a library, or they want to hire an instructor to come do some nutritional type of activities with the kids. And so that money is then granted out to these child care and preschool entities. So there's a lot of good things out there. So we'll be open for, actually we're supposed to be, I'd say about that 10 minutes. It'll be open, so please put in your bids. We greatly appreciate it. There's also resource tables out there from some of our agencies, so you can find out a little bit more about them. And we also have some things on suicide prevention because of postpartum. There's some information out there as well. And even, you might say, we've got child care providers, we have preschool and so forth. You know, our libraries do activities for our very young children. Find out about those. Maybe you can help there too. So, you know, you can come talk to me. I can give you a lot of things you can do, okay? I want to thank our speakers for coming here today, and especially our pinch hitters. They really appreciate that. And I appreciate all of you coming here and supporting us in our endeavor. So have a great day and a Happy New Year.